Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure. So we had the idea with Dr. Franco to start not with the question, but the question to the audience. What do you think about it?
Because you told me that you want to talk about cloud.
Yeah.
But the problem is that when I meet people in general and say, oh, you work for cloud? What it means? So my first point is always about asking a question. So I want to ask to this audience, like, did you ever use Netflix?
Yeah, just with the hands. Okay.
Oh, that's a good one. Traveling with Airbnb, maybe.
Or booking.
That's good. Uber. Tinder. No, I don't want to know. Don't worry. Okay, it's fine. But you know, they were all startups that started building on cloud, on Amazon Web Services, and they became a lot more than startups, scale-ups, and now great multinational companies.
Yeah.
They started from nothing, but they have been able to use the advantages of the cloud. What is it? What is cloud? It's an on-delivery, on-demand IT service. Think about, like, if you have an hospital, you have a company, you don't want to build your own data center. Or maybe you won't. Maybe people won't. But you don't want to build your own electricity power plant. It doesn't make any sense. You pay the bill to the central electricity company, and you pay for what you use. Also because otherwise, you need a lot of expertise in building, maintaining, and manage any other kind of problems connected to energy. But like, if you're a hospital, or you're a startup, or you're a company, you have a different expertise, and you want to focus on your core business. So that's where cloud jumps in. We're talking about IT. This is our expertise. It started now 17 years ago, because we realized that in Amazon, we were quite good in managing IT for the Amazon retail business.
Yeah, you did mention government in your list.
Government too, absolutely. Okay. We get there.
Yeah.
And so we were good at doing this, and we realized that we needed something that wasn't really on the market. We built it for ourselves, but then we realized that it would have been a good opportunity for a lot of customers to have access to this, like we do for logistics, where like a company can use our fulfillment center, logistics center, where they can like use our warehouses to place their own goods, because maybe they don't want to build a warehouse, they don't want to maintain it, or maybe they want to use it just for 3 months, a year. It's the same with cloud. Think about, make an example, like a research center. If you're a research center, you need to focus on, I don't know, on chemistry, on physics, but maybe you need a very high level of computation 1 month for a week. Why would you invest millions on something that is not your core business instead of hiring researchers, for example?
Franco, we gave the answer about what exactly is cloud, and next one, let's precise some topics. What are the advantages of moving to the cloud?
I can name 4. First of all, agility is extremely fast. You can start innovate immediately. You have all the IT and technology available, and you can start working on it. You don't have to think about building, you don't have to think about investing in something that is not your business. Elasticity, what does it mean? You may need a certain amount of IT services. Tomorrow you may need a lot more. You can scale up, scale down on the basis of your necessities. And even from a financial point of view, it's great. That's also the third point. If you move from on-premises, from, let's say, regular data center, from the famous server under the desk to the cloud, there's a reduction of 80% in terms of cost. So this is huge. And talking about energy, which is a big issue today everywhere, even in countries where there is a lot of energy available, and it becomes over 90% because by 2025, all Amazon Web Services cloud infrastructure will be based on renewable energy. That's another point. And let me tell you also, we did an announcement a few months ago. We have a project called Water Plus in our, what we call region, in our data centers. We have this project that allows us, with this technology we developed, to basically take the water coming out from the heating of the data center. So the water that we use to refresh and make the air condition, we give back to the community more than we used. So that's another point in terms of being sustainable, which is not just marketing, but it's really an important thing for the community, because we will need data centers more and more, especially with the growth of artificial intelligence. Finally, there is the possibility to go extend your business everywhere in the world, like immediately. We have an infrastructure spread all around the world with more than 30 regions. Just make an example, think about Netflix a few years ago. It was present in just a few countries, then all of a sudden it was present all around the world. They're a very good customer of ours, and then immediately they were available without any problems in all the countries they decided to go, thanks to the Amazon Web Services infrastructure. But at the same time, if you're a small company and you decide to extend your business from, I don't know, I'm from Italy, an Italian startup, they have like customers in Japan, in the US, in South Africa or Australia, you just need to turn the bottom on, you switch it on, and you go in those countries. And when it's about the latency, the capacity to be close to your customers, that's available immediately.
And I think we should say something about security, because it's very important.
Oh yeah, I would say that security is job zero for us. Honestly, without security, there wouldn't be cloud, and also the growth of IT, of technology, wouldn't be the way we see it today. We have a model, it's called shared responsibility. What does it mean? As AWS, we invest billions in technology to ensure the highest possible security. I like to say that in some way that we build the castle. The highest walls, the most secure walls, but at the same time, we work with our customers to help them to understand how to manage this security. So that means you need to keep the door closed. Yeah. It means that, make a stupid example, don't leave the password on your computer, or don't have behaviors that could harm the security. So that's the kind of approach, but at the same time, there is a cultural issue behind, meaning that a lot of people think that keeping your data under the desk is the most secure thing. Keeping the data in your country is the most secure thing. We can share all the data, the experience, not ours, of governments, of companies. This is not the most secure way. For several reasons, I won't talk about keeping that home or in your office because we have physical access, but also because all the data, when you use the cloud, all data is encrypted. It's encrypted by us, but it's also encrypted by the customer. That means that we encrypt it for you, but you can encrypt it. Yeah. We give you encryption keys. You don't want ours? You can go on the marketplace and buy, I don't know, Americans, Israeli, German, pick one. You will find a very strong security company that has invested in technology that you like, because maybe they're your partners, and you have this kind of double encryption. We have our chief technology officer that goes around with this t-shirt. Werner Vogels is a Dutch guy, impressive, he's been there for 20 years now, encrypted all. Oh, yeah. That's really the basic of security.
Yeah, today we are talking with Dr. Frank about empowering innovations. So can cloud empower innovation in public services too? It's very important if we're talking about topic of our forum.
Absolutely. You know, I work in public policy, yeah. And I work a lot, obviously, with our public sector colleagues. We call ourselves we're cousins because in some way we work with the same stakeholders. We do different jobs, but stakeholders are the same. It's government officials. And today, a government has basically the same kind of necessities of an enterprise. Obviously, it has a different mission. But at the same time, this mission is also driving demand. Often we see that where the ICT sector grows the most is where there is a government with a very strong culture, strong mission of developing ICT and developing services. Services for citizens, services for companies. Service of any kind. Let's think how countries like Estonia or Ukraine have been using technology to really, and cloud, to really push the level of services for their citizens, of their companies. Also, it gives them a flexibility. Let's think about we have the experience with Ukraine, how we migrate in a matter of few days the entire government, but also part of the private sector of Ukraine. That's thanks to cloud. So, but also think about education, how cloud was essential, absolutely, during the start of the pandemic, where millions of kids had to stay home, and we have been able to at least give them some consistency in the education. It's been hard for everybody, and especially for the kids, but at least they had a consistency in having their exchanges with the other students, with the teacher, with the school. Or think about companies. You know, I I was in Italy when the pandemic started. It was the first country that be hit, so it was really news, and I spent like weeks explaining to the rest of the world in some way how to behave, how to react. I've been, in my role, even in contact with other governments because they couldn't talk with the Italian government, that was too busy in the first weeks. And I remember how companies that had been gone all in to the cloud, or government offices that be using the cloud, they had no issue. One day, all employees home and services stayed. Others that had to do it took months to get back to a semi-normal activity, and some of them are still lagging behind. Because the problem is that now citizens are used to have access to services using the cloud, using applications, using the computer. If a government is not able to fulfill these necessities, then it's also, let me say, a political issue. Yeah. And then that brings me to the next point. What is necessary?
Yeah.
To get to the cloud? It's a cultural point. It's a sense of mission. When AWS started 17 years ago, I would say also, I've been in the company for 7 years now. I've seen it changing. The original culture was addressing mainly developers, engineers. We are a company made by engineers. And as let's say, a policy person, sometimes I bang my head with engineers, because in politics, not everything is extremely linear. But at the same time, this has changed a lot, because today, the move to the cloud is a strategic decision for a government, for a company, which means that today, the target is in the president, is in a minister, is in the CEO of a company. It's not anymore in the CIO, in the Chief Information Officer. The sure is the one who needs to implement, is the one that might be the person pushing with the leadership. Look, say, we need to innovate. We need to be able to sustain competition. We need to go global, so we need cloud technology. It cannot be like, if we are an oil company, you can have a fantastic data center. 6 months will be old. Yes. You're spending millions to maintain something that's in your core business. So the necessity comes from the technical people, but the decision is up there. And if you don't have a sense of mission, a country, an enterprise won't move in that direction, you won't have real innovation anymore. Because through the cloud, any company, any government will have access to technology that wouldn't be available. That's part of our mission. I believe that, democratize technology, that's also what AWS has done in the past 15 years, making available technology at a level for developers, for startups and everybody else that otherwise it would have been available because it would have been too expensive. Yeah. So that's the approach needed.
I want to appreciate you for real examples, and let's continue this way. Can you give me some of the emerging technologies AWS is focused on, and why? Because it's very important. You just now talked about it, that future is right now is going on.
I would say that we're living the future already. I would say that the last year we have seen things that, changes is always sudden. Yeah. It's always like this. It happened with the pandemic, but it happened with the technology, with artificial intelligence. Let me tell you that in Amazon, we have been using artificial intelligence and machine learning for the past 15 years. We all know that we go back to Professor Alan Turing and the Enigma machine during the 40s when they decrypted the Nazi code. It's where everything started. But the last year was a game changer, but we have been using this technology for years. Think about if you're using Amazon.com, for example, when you get like the website advice you can get this book. If you like this, you might like this, this, and this. It's the same for many other things. Artificial intelligence is a transformational technology. And please, when you think about artificial intelligence, don't only think about the large language models, the application you're seeing today. That's just the start. That's the surface. It's the machine that is important. It will change everything. It's already changing everything. But I always say to people, let's not be scared. I had a very interesting conversation just last month with the Secretary General of an important international organization. And they agreed on the fact that we are focusing too much on the risks of artificial intelligence while the advantages are enormous. Look, We are talking about lives that can be saved by artificial intelligence. First example, think about the vaccine, the Moderna vaccine. You know, a lot of people complain about how could we develop a vaccine in 6 months? Because of artificial intelligence, because of technology, because Moderna, which is a good customer of ours, they've been able to sequence the mRNA in 2 days. In the past, it would have taken months, if not years, to do this. So that's just an example. Or all the other functions that we do today, really from the media, the telco sector, in the energy sector, everything will be changed. But also in the government. Think about a government using the cloud, using artificial intelligence will be able to change the way it delivers services to the citizens. From traffic to real necessities. There is always talk about overspending in healthcare, while usually citizens feel like there is an underspending in healthcare. The reality is that until today, we have been working on projections. With artificial intelligence, with the right data sets, government would be able to really understand what citizens need and what level of spending would be necessary and where. So in a way that, you know, there won't be a discussion, it won't be just a political thing.
Yeah.
It will be based on data, and my engineers, colleagues will be very happy about it.
Franco, as I told you before, we are today in very tight schedule, so I have last 2 points that need to be discussed. If you were to name one opportunity that AI can bring to our region, because we are now in Kazakhstan, Central Asia, Eurasia, so what would that be?
Well, you know, as I said, artificial intelligence, let's put the hype aside, but it's really transformational. And if I think about the usage of cloud, technology, what kind of impact it can have in this region, in Kazakhstan, what I'm thinking about, it's something called large language models. One thing that we would like to work on is sovereign, we call them sovereign large language models. What I'm talking about is that all the LLM that you possibly know you have been using the last year, they're all in English. Look, I'm Italian, I have the same problem. So why? A large language model is based on data sets. But if the data set is not in your language, managed by people that know the language, know the culture, because the answers, the reactions are different, because it's also a matter of sensibility. On the base of the language is not just grammar. There is a culture behind. And when you implement a large language model using your language under human oversee, for example, by professors, you create a model that is adapt to the country in terms of sensibility. Let's talk about, I don't know, local ethics, local necessities. And also more than that, you democratize the access. Imagine how many people, everybody talk about using these new AI tools. We're talking about mainstream, because most of the people in the world don't speak English. So we need everybody to have access to this technology. And us, as AWS, we don't provide this directly. We develop our own model, it's called Titan. For example, we provide other, like Code Whisperer, which is, for example, is a great tool if there are technicians here that helps in coding. There are a lot of simple activities in coding that artificial intelligence will just speed up. But on the other side, what we build is a technology we call Bedrock, through which you can build your own large language model. That's what we give to the community. This is the way to democratize. And we give the same to government and to the private sector. And one last thing is that when you build your own large language model, it doesn't need that much level of computation. So it can be done also locally. You use the cloud to build it, but you don't necessarily have to run it all the time with a huge computation. That means that also smaller organizations will have an easier access.
100% about topic of our forum, state and IT. You're given just the tools. It's your job, an hour to use it. So, and the last question are, Franco, you talked about ways cloud can empower innovation in businesses, state administration, including, of course, usage of AI. So, is there any other way cloud can empower innovation we should think about?
Look, one point, you know, I was looking at Kazakhstan, it's such a huge country, spread around. There's no cloud, there's no real usage of technology without connectivity. So connectivity is expensive, it's hard to build. That's why, like for AI, we are working to democratize access. Part of our job in trying to democratize access to technology goes through connectivity. That's why we have been investing billions on a project called Amazon Kuiper, which is about...
Kuiper.
Amazon Kuiper. It's about satellite communication. So we are developing a network of low orbit satellites. We just launched the first one. It seems like it's working really well, and we will be fully operated by 2025. And the idea is that to give access also from spread around communities, rural areas, places that are hard to reach, to the same kind of connectivity that you might find in Almaty or in Astana, for example. This gives also the opportunity to companies. I don't know, I'm thinking about a startup called One Soil. It works on AWS Cloud. They provide services in a way that farmers can use like water and other activities in a very precise way, especially, for example, if you don't have enough water and you need to be very precise, like in Israel, they're using this a lot. It's a country in the desert. So if you don't have the right connectivity, how are you going to use all this technology? So what's in the earth, what's in the sky needs to be also on the earth. So there would be a complete connection between the satellite connectivity we provide with the cloud infrastructure that we are building on the ground.
It's very important for our region because maybe in the world we was the first who really answered personal questions right here, because I think till the evening he will be here with us on this forum. And I want to appreciate and please your applause to our honored guest, Director Public Policy IT NSC and at Amazon Web Services, Dr. Franco Spicciarello. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me here. Thank you.